evening, and welcome to this week's edition of The Message. I'm your host, Donatus King, and we'll spend this next hour with one purpose in mind, and that one purpose is delivering the message that God is Almighty. Everything that ever was, is now, or ever will be, was made by God. Everything that ever happened, is happening right now, or ever will happen, was made to happen by God. God has a master plan for all time and all creation. God is Almighty. The message is brought to you by, is produced by the Society of Knowledge Incorporated. The Society is an interdenominational, religious, spiritual organization. Our members come from various different religious and spiritual backgrounds. We have various different religious and spiritual beliefs. Although we come from different backgrounds and have different beliefs, there is one belief that we share. There is one piece of knowledge that we hold in common, and that's the knowledge that there is a being. By no matter what name we may have been taught to call that being, by no matter what name we may have come to know that being, whether that name be God, Allah, Yahweh, Jesus, Buddha, Noah, nature, by no matter what name, we know that there is a being that possesses not some of the power, not most of the power, but all of the power. We know that there is indeed an almighty being. That's the reason we do this show, and the only reason we do this show, to deliver the message that that being that personally I call God, that being is indeed almighty. Today is May 4th, 2017, and I remind that fact because tonight, as we are on most Thursdays, we are live. And I remind you of that fact because this show is an open discussion. It's a two-way conversation. You see the telephone number that's on your screen. I invite you to use that number. Call in. If there's something that's going on in your church, your mosque, your masjid, your synagogue, your temple, your place of worship, and you want to let the world know about it, call in and let the world know about it. If there's something that's going on in your nonprofit organization and you want to share that information with the world, call in and share that information with the world. More important than what's going on in your place of worship, more important than what's going on in your nonprofit organization, if there's something that God has done for you in your life, a miracle that God has worked in your life, call in and share your testimony with the world. You know, it may be someone that's going through some problems right now. It might be a health problem, financial problem, some kind of problem that they just cannot resolve. And it may be a similar problem that you encountered, and God made a way for you to get through it. God worked a miracle in your life. Call in, share your testimony. Your testimony might be the one thing that someone needs to hear right now that will strengthen them, encourage them, help them to hold on until things get better. And I'm going to repeat that because I did say a miracle, because the God I'm here to tell you about works miracles, literally miracles, things that you can't explain, makes a way out of no way, heals sick bodies that the doctors can't heal, heals sick bodies that medicine can't heal. The God I'm here to tell you about. So call in and share your testimony with the world. And I keep saying share with the world. That's right, because as I speak right now, this show is being seen not only here on television in the city of New Orleans, but as I speak, it is beaming live around the world on Facebook Live. And folks that are in Kingston, Jamaica right now can tune in and watch on Facebook Live. So I encourage you all that are watching on Facebook Live, let your friends know about it. Encourage them to tune in. And also leave a comment. Those of you that are watching on Facebook Live, those of you that are watching on TV, our Facebook Live is at Donatus, Danatus, N King, Donatus N King. Send me a friend request, and then you'll be able to watch us. All right, let's see. I said today is the 4th of May, and I want to wish everybody a happy Cinco de Mayo. You know, I'm a little bit early, but a happy Cinco de Mayo. There are a lot of folks that will be celebrating that tomorrow. And if you are celebrating it, I just hope that you not only have a good time, but a safe time. And that is Cinco de Mayo. For those of you that may not be aware, I don't want to get in trouble. Like some people speak about historical events and get it wrong. But if I do speak about it and get it wrong, I'm in good company, because I think the folks that are in high elected positions make statements about history and get those statements wrong. But I think Cinco de Mayo is the day that Mexico celebrates its independence. So I might be wrong, but anyway, happy Cinco de Mayo. All right, we have some announcements. Let's go straight into our announcements. Religious spiritual study, prove all things, hold fast that which is good. Coming out of First Book of Thessalonians, chapter 5, verse 21. Let's see, words of inspiration tonight, coming out of the book of Genesis, chapter 43, verses 15 through 34. And I know that it's kind of hard for you that are watching on Facebook to see the announcements. It's not showing up too good, so I'm going to just take that off, and we'll make some adjustments next week. We have these technical problems, but we work through them. Brother Chris's prayer line 504-866-5042 is open Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays 10 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. And let me make sure that I have the correct information, because Brother Chris did call and give me some new info. And just bear with me. And I know you see me digging through my pockets and doing all kind of stuff. This is live television. All right. Let's see, Brother Chris. Cope line and Bible study is 1:30 to 4:30. Yep, so we didn't get a chance to change that. It's 1:30 to 4:30, and that's Mondays and Wednesdays. Meditation training, 9:30 to 4:30. Tuesdays and Thursdays, and the suggested readings are out of the book of James, 1st and 2nd Kings, Paul, Hebrews, and Ephesians. All right, so we got that one. Let's see what else we have here. All right, www.godisalmighty.org. That is our main website, and I invite all of you to visit our main website. And that main website has links to all of our social media outlets. And we have a religious discussion blog, Facebook page at The Messenger, Twitter at Donatus N. King, Instagram at DNK Messenger, YouTube at DNK Messenger. Visit our YouTube page. We have a lot of videos on there, throughout the years, a lot of videos, so you might find something interesting there. Minister Antoine Brown's prayer line, 225-397-4964, is free. If you ever feel that you need someone to pray with you, you can give Minister Brown a call. And if you want to write him a letter, his address is P.O. Box 94, coming out of Violet, Louisiana, 70092. Peacekeepers of New Orleans, 504-723-3976. They operate a beef hotline, and I want to publicly thank Minister Willie Muhammad and Brother Walter Umrani for the work that they're doing with the beef hotline. They're actually saving lives. People that are out here on the streets and having disputes, instead of picking up a gun and shooting each other, they are able to call the peacekeepers, and the peacekeepers will come out and help folks talk through things, work it out, mediate it without picking up a gun. Renaissance One is hiring. I thank Brother Chris for sharing that information with us. Renaissance One is hiring. The phone number there, 504-243-1901. Rock of Ages Ministries International, Apostle Ronnie Bailey, their main website, www.ronniebailey.com. They're doing a lot of great work here in the state of Louisiana. They're based out of Lafayette, but they always doing programs here in Kenner and in New Orleans. So contact Minister Ronnie Bailey, or Apostle Ronnie Bailey, rather, and you visit their website, and you can see videos that they have posted about the work that they're doing. St. Joan of Arc Catholic Church, 8321 Birch Street here in the city of New Orleans. Services are Saturdays 4 p.m., Sundays 8 a.m. and 10 a.m. You're reminded to call, in the city of New Orleans, you're reminded to call 311 from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. for free smoke detectors and to register for hurricane evacuation assistance. You know, we had a lot of bad weather this past week. Hopefully we're finished with that for a little while, but that's just a reminder. You know, hurricane season, not that far away. Matter of fact, it starts next month. Call and register for hurricane evacuation assistance. The fourth annual, I'm going to have to pull this one off because the Sankofa Expo, that was last week, the 29th. So I haven't talked to Brother Allah or Brother Tenab, rather, to find out how it went, but hopefully everything went well for them in North Carolina. Religious spiritual study, prove all things, hold fast that which is good, coming out of the first book of Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 21. All right, words of inspiration tonight, Genesis 43:15 through 34. And the men took their present, and they took double money in their hand in Benjamin, and rose up and went down to Egypt and stood before Joseph. So this is the second trip that the Hebrews are making to Egypt to purchase food, and they're taking double the money that they were told they had to bring, and not only are they taking double the money, but they are also taking their brother Benjamin and going to Egypt. All right, we're going to take, before we go much further, let's take about a minute and a half break, and then we'll be back here on the message. We're going to do a little bit housekeeping here, and then we'll be back in just about a minute and a half.
We got the spirit. We're hot. We can't be stopped. We got the spirit. We're hot. We can't be stopped. We're going to beat them and bust them.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life.
Let's get a little bit rowdy. R-O-W-D-Y.
Take time to be a dad today. Call or visit fatherhood.gov to learn more.
Thank you for calling your GED Pep Talk Center. All right, now, are you ready for your GED Pep Talk?
Being nervous is okay. It just shows that you're serious about getting your diploma.
A lot of things are scary. Heck, I'm scared of clowns.
No quiero oír. No lo puedo hacer.
DMC, life in your pep talk style.
Just keeping it real, Deb. Just keeping it real.
Whatever motivation you need, we've got a pep talk for you. Get your GED Pep Talk and find free classes at yourged.org.
All in together now. We can make it better now. Come on, can we do it?
Yeah, you know that we can.
We rope it up,
Cause we know how to jump.
we roll it out,
Cause we know how to skate.
we'll cut it down,
Cause we know what to eat.
we'll swap it out.
We eat healthy stuff.
Can we do it?
Yeah, you know that we can.
Can we do it?
Just moving a little and eating better every day can help make you and your child healthier. Search We Can to find doable tips and activities that you can use every day.
My life is full of statistics. Thing is, I could have dropped out of school and become one myself, but I didn't because I had people that believed in me. Here's another statistic. 7,000 students drop out every school day. That's one every 26 seconds. It's time that students know that we believe in them.
Inspire a student and share your message of support at boostup.org.
What if you could invest in the future of kids, like a stock? Not the kind of stock that's about making money, but a stock for social change. A whole new kind of investment called Better Futures. When you invest, it helps kids go to college. Believe in us, invest in us, watch us grow.
My name is Sydney, and I'm your dividend.
NFC, AFC, offensive linemen, defensive tackles, quarterbacks, and cornerbacks are all working with United Way for a million little reasons. The kids of our communities, to ensure their academic success all the way to graduation day. You see, it takes about 12 years to create a graduate, but it takes the same time to create a dropout. And the difference between a kid becoming one or the other could be a professional athlete, or it could be you. Studies showed the earlier we get to kids, the better their chances. So become a United Way volunteer reader, tutor, or mentor, and make a difference in the life of a child, for the life of that child.
Give.
Advocate.
Volunteer.
Live United. Join your favorite NFL players. Take the pledge. Go to unitedway.org.
Welcome back to the message. We had a little technical difficulty, and I understand those of you that are watching on Facebook that it's hard for you to make out the screen when we put stuff up on the screen, but that's something we're going to have to rectify that next week. I understand we have a caller. Caller, are you there?
Yes, I am, Messenger. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How you doing, Brother Chris?
I'm doing fine. Renaissance is taking calls between the hours of 8 a.m. and 4 p.m.
No, all right. Okay, well, may I ask you if you give me a call at the office so I can make sure I get that and put that on the board?
Okay, I will.
All right, Brother Chris.
Okay, God bless.
Thank you, brother. All right. Okay, we were reading, and for those of you that are watching on Facebook, I understand that you it's not coming up on your screen, the scriptures, but we're reading out of the King James Version of the Bible. So I'm going to read it off, read the verses, and it ought to be exactly the same as in your Bible. So just get your Bible, and we're reading again King James Version of the Bible, and let me make sure that that I'm telling you, Book of Genesis, chapter 43, verses 15 through 34. All right, verse 15. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time going back over, bringing everybody back up to speed, but Jacob's children have gone to Egypt to purchase some grain. They've come back, and they're back in Canaan. But the famine continues, so now they're going back. They're going back to Egypt to purchase some more food. And now it's telling us what they're taking with them, and the scripture said that they took double the money in their hand. So they double the cost of the grain. They taking that with them, so they're trying to get on the good side of the Egyptians. They didn't want to make the Egyptians mad. They thought the Egyptians might have been mad at them from the last time the Hebrews went there to Egypt to buy some grain. So now they're going back. They have some presents, and they're bringing their other brother Benjamin as they had been instructed to do. All right. And when Joseph saw Benjamin with them, he said to the ruler of his house, "Bring these men home and slay, and make ready, for these men shall dine with me at noon. Now, see, he's talking about slay. Now, he's not talking about slay the men. He's talking about go slay some animals so they have some food to eat because they're going to have dinner with him. And the man did as Joseph bade, and the man brought the men into Joseph's house. And the men were afraid because they were brought into Joseph's house, and they said, because of the money that was returned in our sacks at the first time are we brought in, that he may seek occasion against us and fall upon us and take us for bondmen and our asses. All right. Now, I do have to give a little bit more recap. Some of you all may not have read this before. Some of you all may not have been watching the message when we talked about this and read about this several weeks ago. What happened? Okay? What happened is that there was a famine in the land, right? Throughout the whole world. Folks were hungry. Crops weren't growing. But they had plenty of food in Egypt. The Hebrews were living in Canaan. Okay? The Hebrews and the patriarch of the Hebrews, Jacob, whose name was later changed to Israel. But Jacob told his sons to go to Egypt and buy some food, bring it home. Okay? His sons went to Egypt to buy the food. They filled up their sacks with food, paid the people for the food, paid the Egyptians for the food. When they got back to Canaan, they opened up their sacks. And not only was the food in their sacks, but the money that they had paid for the food, that was in their sacks also. And then they became paranoid. They was worried. They said, look, how did the money get in our sack? We gave that to the Egyptians. And now it's in our sack. Them Egyptians are going to think that we pulled something funny on them, that we beat them out, that we cheated them. And they was worried about that. Okay, they was worried about it. How did the money that we gave it to them, we paid for the food, and now we find the money in our sack. And that's the reason we read the verse that we read a minute ago. They talked about they took double the money. Because they said, look, we're going to take the money that we paid the last time, and somehow or another that money was put back in our sack and we brought it home with us. We're going to take that money and bring it back to the Egyptians. And we're going to take some more money because we're buying some more food. Right? So they're paranoid. They're paranoid. So they're already afraid. And they're going back to Egypt. And remember, another reason that they're afraid is because it's been a good little while since they were in Egypt. And they were supposed to be going back to Canaan. When they left Egypt the first time, they were supposed to be going back to Canaan and get their brother and bring him, their brother Benjamin, and bring him back to Egypt. But instead, they stayed there in Canaan until they ate up all the food they had bought. So now, they're on their way back to Egypt, and they are afraid. They're afraid for number one, because they took so long to return back to Egypt. They're afraid, number two, because the money that they had used to buy their food, they still had it. Somehow or another, somebody put it in their sack. And they was afraid that the Egyptians was thinking that they had stole that money and pulled a fast one. And then the third, they're afraid because when they were in Egypt the first time, the Egyptian was talking about, y'all must really be spies. Y'all didn't just come here to buy food. Y'all are spies. And that's why the Egyptians made them leave one of their brothers in Egypt when the other 10 brothers went back to Canaan. So now they're afraid. Okay? They're afraid. But they had to go back to Egypt because the famine was still all over the world. Nobody had food except for Egypt. So they had to go back to Egypt. And now we're reading, when they get back to Egypt, something unusual happens. See, when you go to the store, go to Walmart. When you go to Walmart, the manager doesn't tell you, well, welcome, come on, and come on to my house. No, the manager doesn't tell you that. See, so they went to buy some food, and instead of being taken to the storehouse or the warehouse where they had all the food, no. Joseph tells them, look, come on by my house. So now they're already scared, and now this unusual thing has happened, whereas the leader of this country is saying, come to my house. And we read in this verse, we read where they're saying, wait, something is up. It's a trick. He's trying to get us to his house so that he can hurt us. So look, all these dynamics. And for those of you that don't know, this fellow Joseph, who was the second most important man in Egypt, he's a Hebrew. Matter of fact, not only is he a Hebrew, but he's the brother of these Hebrews that have come to buy some food. But they don't recognize him. They are the same brothers that threw Joseph in a pit, stole his coat of many colors, threw him in a pit. And then Joseph wound up being a slave and wound up going to prison and wound up having all kinds of stuff happen to him in Egypt. So now, and that's just a little bit background. Okay, so we have these sons of Jacob that are now for the second time in Egypt. And this strange thing is happening, whereas the second most powerful man in Egypt, who is Joseph, is saying, bring them to my house. And the brothers are saying, wait a minute, this is a trick. When we go there, they're going to grab us and make us bondsmen. And that means slaves. Going to make us slaves. So they're afraid. All right. And they came near to the steward of Joseph's house, and they communed with him at the door of the house, and said, O sir, we came indeed down at the first time to buy food. You see, that's what I was telling you. Okay? That's what we read about before. See, the brothers now are explaining to the steward, okay, the butler at Joseph's house. They're saying, look, we the same fellas that came down the first time to buy some food. Right? I said, didn't I just explain that to you? I explained that to you. Okay? All right? So now, here the brothers are saying, look, man, look. We the same folks that came. We the same ones. All right. And, wait a minute, look here. And it came to pass, when we came to the inn, that we opened our sacks, and behold, every man's money was in the mouth of his sack, our money in full weight, and we have brought it again in our hand. and other money have we brought down in our hands to buy food. We cannot tell who put our money in our sacks. Whoa, right from the very beginning. They're starting to explain. Look, right from the very beginning, they're starting to say, look, yeah, we the same ones that came before and bought some food. But guess what happened? When we looked in our bag with the food, we found the same money that we had gave you. And look, we say, we don't know how it got there. Don't blame us. We don't know how it got there. But look, however it got there, we bringing it back to you. And we bringing you some more money to buy some more food. You see, right from the very beginning, see, they stop. Look, we don't want no humbug. We don't want no foolishness. You done brought us here. I don't know what you got planned for us, but look, if you're trying to get some revenge or something, no, we didn't do you any wrong. We don't know how that money got there. See, I told you they was afraid. And they're trying to talk their way out of it right from the very beginning. Look, first thing he tells them, look, we don't know how it got there. We didn't put it there. It was there. We confess it was there. But we didn't do that. All right. Man, I know that was some scared people. See, look, think about this. You in a whole different land, a different country. See, these Hebrews were from Canaan. Now they done gone into Egypt. So now you know they got to be nervous. And all this stuff that's going on. And remember, we talked about this before. The same man that they're so afraid of, the same man, they just don't know that he is their blood brother. And remember something we talked about before? That when Joseph saw him, Joseph recognized him. Joseph knew that was his brothers. But instead of running up to him and hugging him and saying, oh, my brother's glad to see y'all, he didn't do that. Because he was getting some catchback, some revenge on him. Because they had threw him into that pit. They had stolen his coat of many colors. So he's giving them something, make them sweat. Okay? That's Joseph making them sweat a little bit. His own brothers, but you never know what life holds for us. So now we see his brothers are saying, look, we very scared. Yeah, we are very afraid right now. And he said, look at this. And he said, peace be to you in verse 23. And he said, peace be to you, fear not. Your God and the God of your father hath given you treasure in your sacks. I had your money. And he brought Simeon out unto them. All right, and I'm going to stop right there. Stop right there. Simeon. Remember I told you before about when they went there the first time, when the brothers went to Egypt the first time, they were told that they had to leave one of them there in Egypt until they returned. That was Simeon. And now, we can read through this quick and we can miss a point. Okay? And the point that we missed, right in that little verse right there. Fear not. This is what the steward tells them. Fear not. I had your money. Yes. I don't think that you stole the money or tricked. I had your money. And no, I don't think that y'all pulled a fast one on me and snuck it away from me. No, I don't think that. He says, your God had given you treasure in your sacks. You see, now the Spirit working on me right now. And the Spirit just opening my eyes up to something right now. Look, just that second. It wasn't yesterday. The Spirit didn't open my eyes yesterday. Didn't open my eyes an hour ago. Just that second. The Spirit opened my eyes up. That little verse right there. Look what it says. It says, your God and the God of your father had given you treasure in your sacks. How many times? See, look at that. Look what the Spirit tells me. How many times do we have treasures in our sacks and we're afraid of it? You see, they had treasures in their sacks. But because they didn't know how it got in their sack, they were afraid. So all that time that they was in Canaan, there was worrying. And they was worrying about the treasures that was in their sack because they couldn't explain how it got there. You know, sometimes God will give you a blessing. God will work a miracle in your life. And sometimes instead of just accepting it and thanking God for it, we worry about it. God can work a miracle in your life. The same way God worked that miracle and inspired the Egyptians to put that money back in them sacks, God can work a miracle in your life. You see, God can, look, if it's financial problems that you're having, God can work a miracle, and next thing you know, you're getting a raise at your job. Or the next thing you know, you've been looking for work, and the next thing you know, you get a call saying, come on, you can start work tomorrow. How many times have we heard on the news or had one of our friends, and all y'all that watch Facebook, you see it all the time. Folks that have been diagnosed with cancer. And then the next thing you know, they go to the doctor and the doctor can't find not one cancer cell in their body. They ain't got to worry about why that cancer cell is not there in my body anymore. Oh, thank you, God. Thank you for that treasure. See, the same way God was working miracles back in them days, God working miracles today. And I'm not making this up. Hey, this is true. God working miracles today. I was watching TV. I'll share this with you. I was watching TV, I think yesterday. And I don't know where this was. It was somewhere, I think it was in the United States. But there was a little child that fell in the water. It looked like a lake or a pond or something. Little child. And it just so happens, understand what I'm saying now? This wasn't no crowded beach or nothing. It just so happens that somebody was walking by, that somebody that just so happened to be walking by just so happened to know how to swim. Just so happened to see that child fall in that water. Just so happened to not be afraid to jump in that water and save that child's life. Just so happened. It ain't no just so happened. God worked a miracle. It ain't no just so happened. That person that knew how to swim was placed there for the very purpose of saving that child's life. Just so happens God can work a miracle in your life. Here in the year 2017, no matter what you're going through, God can work a miracle in your life. All right, verse 24. And the man brought the men into Joseph's house and gave them water, and they washed their feet, and he gave their asses provender. Yeah, he fed the animals. And they made ready the present against Joseph came at noon, for they heard that they should eat bread there. And when Joseph came home, they brought him the present, which was in their hand, into the house, and bowed themselves to him to the earth. Now I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop just for a second. Okay? I'm going to stop for a second. And I'm going to stop for a second because those of you that have been following along with us as we've been reading verse by verse, chapter by chapter, you remember way, 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 way back when Joseph was a little boy, many years before, Joseph had a dream. And he told his mama and daddy and his brothers about the dream. Remember, Joseph was a baby. But his daddy, Jacob, loved him more than all the rest of his sons. And Joseph was given the gift of being able to interpret dreams. And this dream that Joseph had, Joseph told his brothers, his mom and daddy what that dream was. And that dream was that his brothers would be bowing down to him. Would be bowing down. Now that's insulting to his brothers. That's an insult. Here we are older than you, and you telling us that we are going to be bowing down to you? That was an insult. And that's the way they took it too. They took it as an insult. But now, after all these years, look what we're reading tonight. That his brothers are indeed bowing down to him. They don't realize it's Joseph, but they are indeed bowing down to him. And he asked them of their welfare and said, "Is your father well? The old man of whom ye spake, is he yet alive?" That's in verse 27. And remember, when Joseph is saying, your father, he's not only speaking about their father, but it's his father too. And he's saying, how is our daddy? Is he yet alive? And they answered, "Thy servant, our father, is in good health. He is yet alive." And they bowed down their heads and made obeisance. All right, again, that prophecy, that dream coming true. They're bowing down to Joseph. And he lifted up his eyes and saw his brother Benjamin, his mother's son, and said, "Is this your younger brother of whom ye spake unto me?" And he said, "God be gracious unto thee, my son." Okay, remember Benjamin is the one that was left in Canaan when the other 10 brothers first went to Egypt. And remember, they had to have a big old discussion about bringing Benjamin because Jacob didn't want to let him go. All right. And Joseph made haste For his bowels did yearn upon his brother. And he sought where to weep. And he entered into his chamber and wept there. Now this right here, they got all kind of stuff in this verse. All kind of stuff. Joseph was full. Okay. He was full. He had so much emotion in him. This is his brother. Now, he had seen his other brother, but he hadn't seen this one. Now he's seen this brother. And it says, what? It says, his brother, and it's the son of Joseph's mother. Because remember now, we keep talking and we talk about Jacob having 12 sons. Yes, he did have 12 sons, but all of them weren't from the same mother. Some of them had different mothers. But this one, Benjamin, was from the same mother as Joseph. And he missed his brother. And just them human emotions. He wanted to go hug his brother and tell his brother how good it was to see him and to be able to hold him and talk to him. But see, he couldn't do that. Because even though he wanted to do that, he still had that little spirit of catchback in him, that revenge in him. And he wasn't finished tormenting them yet. But that yearning to embrace his brother, it was so strong. And it was so hard for him to fight it that he couldn't stand up there and just look at his brother without going and grabbing him and holding him and telling him how much he loved him. He couldn't stand there and fight. So the scripture says he had to run away and go in his room and deal with his emotions. With the young people today, they say he was all into his feelings, but he didn't want his brothers to see it. He went in his room and he wept. Now look, it may be one of y'all watching this show right now that's in this same predicament, the same position. And I'm going to be real with it. And I'm going to be real with it. They got family members in the year 2017. Family members. I'm talking about blood relatives, brothers and sisters, mama and daughter, daddy and son, not talking to each other behind some foolishness that occurred in the past. Yes, some of y'all might have experienced it in your family. Yes, they did him wrong. Yes, they did. They did him wrong. But that love that he still has in his heart, he couldn't let that come out, couldn't express it because of that revenge that he had still in his heart. I'm going to get back at y'all. And look, the script, it's eating him up. They talk about hate, and our hate can hurt yourself. It's eating him up. It says that he was feeling so bad that he had to cry. He ran into the other room and cried. See, the stuff that we reading about here that happened thousands of years ago, still going on today. Still going on today. And he washed his face and went out and refrained himself and said, set on bread. So he went and got his act together. He went in his room. He cried a little while. He washed his face, got himself together, and refrained himself and said, set on bread. Come on, eat. And they set on him, and they set on for him by himself, and for them by themselves, and for the Egyptians which did eat with him by themselves, because the Egyptians might not eat bread with the Hebrews, for that is an abomination unto the Egyptians. You see what I was telling you a minute ago? It's two different sets of people. The Egyptians and the Hebrews. And they had their rules that, look, we'll let you come buy some food. But look, don't come trying to get all that familiar with us. Want to sit down and eat in the same restaurant with us? What that sound like? No, that sounds like something that's segregation. All right? It's cool. You can come buy some food, but you can't sit at the lunch counter. Oh, no. All right? And even though Joseph is a Hebrew, nobody knows it. Okay? His brothers don't know it. All right? You know what I mean? I say, a lot of stuff that was going on back in them days, still going on today. And they set before him the firstborn according to his birthright. Okay, so the oldest one has his birthright, and the youngest according to his youth. And the men marveled one at another. And he took and sent messes unto them before him. But Benjamin's mess was 5 times so much as any of theirs. And they drank and were merry with him. Oh man, now this sounds like things is going great. You know, everybody, we sitting down, we eating. Oh, and we drinking, and we making merry. Oh man, doesn't this sound wonderful? Isn't that something? Well, we're coming towards the end of the show, but we're going to get just a little bit into chapter 44. And he commanded the steward of his house, saying, fill the men's sacks with food, as much as they can carry, and put every man's money in his sack's mouth, and put my cup, the silver cup, in the sack's mouth of the youngest, and his corn money. And he did according to the word that Joseph had spoken. Oh man, this is wonderful. That's the same thing that they did before. Filled up the sacks with food and then put the money in the sack. Wow. Man, Joseph got soft-hearted here. Boy, this is fantastic. Man, this is marvelous. This is a wonderful, wonderful thing. Well, maybe yes, maybe no. As soon as the morning was light, the men were sent away, they and their asses. And when they were gone out of the city, and not yet far off, Joseph said unto his steward, up, follow after the men. And when thou dost overtake them, say unto them, wherefore have ye rewarded evil for good? Is not this it in which my Lord drinketh, and whereby indeed he divineth? Ye have done evil in so doing? Wait a minute, hold on now. Wait a minute. What Joseph had done? Joseph put the money in the sack. And he said, put his cup in the sack. And told him, bye-bye. Bye. Have a good trip. Bye. And then when they had left, he tells his steward, go catch them rascals. And accuse them of being evil. Accuse them of stealing. Now I told you, there's some devilish stuff going on here. See, that's that catchback, that evil, that revenge that Joseph has in his heart. He's going to make them suffer some more, going to make them sweat some more. He's going to set them up. All right. But we're going to stop right here. And I encourage you, don't wait until next week. Don't wait till next week. Use your own Bible. Read ahead. Yeah, you find out what's going to happen. I wonder what's going to happen. How are they going to react to this? They've been set up. A second time they've been set up. But this time, the people came and caught them. And wait a minute. Hold on. Wait. The first time, they still had one son was back there in Canaan. Now, they got all 11 of them rascals about to get in trouble. Oh, man. I tell you something. This is rough. This is some rough stuff. Rough stuff. We got to end the show on that note with a little bit of suspense. What's going to happen? What is going to happen? All right. As we talk tonight, and as we say at the beginning of every show, that God is almighty. And all the stuff that we're reading, that Joseph went through, all the stuff that we're reading about tonight, that his brothers went through, we know is all a part of God's divine plan, all a part of God's master plan. And God has a master plan not only for Joseph, not only for his brothers, but God has a master plan for you and for me. My prayer, as always, my prayer, no matter what God has planned for you in this upcoming week, it's my prayer that God blesses you and yours with peace.